Winding a bobbin on a Juki TL series of sewing machines should be a quick and easy task. But new Juki owners often struggle with this because they're missing one tiny little step that once they see it, they say, why did I not notice that? So stick with me because in this video, I'm going to show you how to get them wound up without any issues, and then I'll show you how to load them into the machine so you're ready to get sewing. The thread path for winding the bobbin starts off the same as for threading the machine. So I'm going to use a cone and I'm going to place it on this cone holder. The thread is going to come from behind and come through the guide on my telescopic arm. And then I'm going to come at this little guy right here. The thread comes from right to left and it travels around this tensioner. And it needs to slide between this little donut piece on the top and the flat metal piece on the bottom, and you'll feel it when it's tucked in there, and then it comes back out to the right. So I'll do that one more time. It does this clockwise, wraps around clockwise, and then comes back out the front. From here I'm going to take one of my bobbins, and the bobbins should have these little notches in them, in the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take the end of the thread, if I can find it. I'm going to take the end of the thread and I'm going to come through the middle and up through one of those holes. It doesn't matter which one, it just needs to go through the hole in the bobbin. With the thread traveling through the hole in the bobbin, I'm just going to place the bobbin on top of this pin. And this is the crucial step that most people miss, because from here most people will try and engage their lever, but it might not work for them. So all you have to do is just twist this bobbin until it drops down. See how this one dropped down? It's because there's a little tiny metal pin that needs to slide into one of these holes. So chances are if you drop your bobbin on, it's not just going to be perfectly in the right spot. You're just going to have to spin it until it drops. All right, so once it's dropped, then you can engage the lever. Then I would hold the thread up and away, and I would press on the presser foot. That's going to engage the needle. First of all, the needle will go up and down a couple of times, but then the bobbin winder will start winding. So I'm holding the thread in my left hand, and I've got a pair of small snips in my right hand, and I'm going to wait until the machine starts running and it's done a few ups and downs on the bobbin, and then I'm going to clip the thread as it's winding up. So I'm just going to make sure I'm holding the loose tail of this thread. I don't want it to get wound up or caught in anything. So I'm just making sure I've got all the bits of the thread, and I'm going to press on the presser foot and it'll start spinning like that. I didn't want that to get caught. I'm going to let it spin up a little bit, and I'm going to clip that off and then give her on the pedal. The fact that the machine has stopped tells me that this is at capacity. So I'm just going to open this little lever, pull off the bobbin, and then I'm going to cut the thread with my little snips. And then I've got my bobbin all wound up and ready to go. Now that you've got the bobbin all wound up, you need to put it into the bobbin case. And the bobbin case is inside the machine already. It probably came that way with the machine. In case you can't figure out how to get this thing open, it's got a little gate or a little lever that opens up, and then that is what you can use to actually use as a handle to pull the bobbin case out of the machine. And when you close that back up, the bobbin will easily come out of the bobbin case. But when you go to replace it, you want to make sure that you replace it in the correct direction. So what I mean by that is, the thread on the bobbin needs to be making the number 9. See how that's making a number 9 with the top and the thread, as opposed to making a P? Should we call that a P? Sure. So it's got to be a number 9. So you need to be facing this way, and then you can drop it into the bobbin case. And from here, you need to pass the thread through this little slot right here. So you'll pull the thread until it drops into that slot, and then you'll pull it underneath this spring arm right here. And in which case your bobbin should be, there's lots of feelings about different tensions for this, but it should be so that when you're holding on this, your bobbin should not just be falling on the ground, okay? We can talk about tension another day, but enough to say that when you drop it in, it's gotta go underneath this arm right here, the little spring arm. Then in order to get it back in the machine, you'll need to pop open this gate. That'll give you something to hold on to. Then you can simply place it in. And when you put it in, the bobbin needs to be arranged or oriented somehow. Come on friend, come on, focus. So it needs to be oriented with this gate going horizontally with the closure over at the right. So I'm gonna pop it open, place it inside the machine, and then I'm going to close that gate. And if I wanted to pull up more bobbin thread, I could do that. And when I do that, I normally close the gate and just pull out the thread, and then I will use the thread cutter that's on the front of the machine, pardon me, right here. And then I'm ready to rock and roll. It's so easy, right? Once you figure out that one little trick, it's like, oh, this was so simple. Why did I make it so hard? And if you liked this video, you'll definitely want to check out my other content all about me and my love for my Juki TL sewing machine, including this video, which is all about my regular cleaning and maintenance schedule that keeps my machine performing at its very best. As always, I'm wishing you happy sewing, and I'll see you in my next video.